Welcome everybody to Saturday Training. My name is Steve Kuchin. I'm a holistic health practitioner here in San Diego, California. And I'd like to share our products with you. Our company is called Celluvation. But first, I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping first. The statements made in this presentation have not been evaluated by the FDA. Nothing in this presentation should be construed as diagnosing, prescribing, or treating disease. It is presented for education only. We must legally warn you that if you are ill, have any disease, are pregnant or nursing, you should consult your medical doctor before attempting any natural or herbal program. And today I want to talk about the subject which is coming towards us, and this is the advent of 5G in our society. Instead of me talking about it, I want to bring on an expert, a doctor, medical doctor. There's actually a crisis symposium, a crisis summit that everybody can actually attend or be part of. And Sigal sent this to me, and I really liked it. So one of our doctors, Dr. Klinghardt, he's from the Seattle Sophia Center. He's been a medical doctor for a long time there, and he uses our products, our youth crystals. There's a lot more to it. I just wanted to indicate a couple of things here. I took notes on the whole video, and I can share this link with you guys with the video where you can get the hold of it, the whole thing yourself. A couple of things you can help in relation to Wi-Fi and its aberrant frequencies towards you is grounding really good. There is things that you can sleep on at nighttime that shield you and actually ground you to Mother Earth, right? So they're called grounding sheets, and you can get them. Also, there's another thing called the ionic foot bath, which is really a good, important thing in order to pull out heavy metals out of the body. What happens is that with these Wi-Fi frequencies, according to Dr. Klinghardt, they would actually pass right through you if you never had any heavy metals in your body. But a lot of people, especially with brain malfunctions, conditions and so forth, have a lot of aluminum in the brain. So to eradicate the aluminum and all the heavy metals in the body is very, very important. And another thing, this is, you should shut off your Wi-Fi at nighttime, because what happens at night is it destroys melatonin production, okay? Melatonin production is destroyed. Wi-Fi also destroys things like, he even said it's even more an incipient undercurrent thing. It destroys this function of compassion in an individual. People feel less compassionate around others or towards others when everybody is zoned into their YouTube videos and stuck their faces in the screen type of thing, right? So another thing is this whole thing with 5G and how they want to blanket the whole world with 5G. The biggest reason that they got, the proponents for it, is driverless cars. Okay, so you take a look at that. Driverless cars compared to what you heard today, plus eradicating our insect population, our bees that pollinate all our food chain, destroying our genome. How in the world does that make sense? I'm beside myself. Also, you also notice is that mushrooms and mold, because mold is like a mushroom, or mushroom is like a mold, I should say, grow 5x. They actually did an experiment. Dr. Klinghardt did an experiment with mushrooms, and they actually introduced Wi-Fi in the area, and the mushroom grew 5 times as big in this same period of time. So actually, activation of mold or mold spores, sometimes people get that in their lungs and so forth, and if you have 5G around you, that can exacerbate the condition, So important thing, get rid of heavy metals. So now the next thing I want to do is bring on a doctor, very famous doctor. She is, let me get my notes here, Dr. Judy Mikovits. She was working with the Cancer Institute, I think, for over 30 years. And let me bring up some things that she said here. Okay, so Dr. Judy Mikovits, she said this: 5G will cause this to happen in the body. It causes ferritin. The ferritin is actually a protein that's in the body that can hold on to iron, right? So this ferritin will cause a cytokine storm, because cytokines are signaling molecules which alert the immune system that something is wrong in an area, right? And it says here, Cytokines are small secreted proteins released by cells having a specific effect on interactions and communication between cells. So this is a way of cells talking to each other, right? Cytokine is a general name. Other names, I'm not going to get into those other names. Cytokines may act on the cells that secrete action on nearby cells or even on distant cells. Cytokines can be pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. There's significant evidence allowing certain cytokines are involved in not only the initiation, but also the persistence of pathological pain by directly activating and nociceptive sensory neurons. And what the heck is that? I got that reference here. And this is all from NIH, National Institute of Health, right? This is actually a published study. Nociceptor sensory neuron immune interactions. I apologize if your brain is going kind of dull right now. We'll explain this real simply here. Nociceptor sensory neurons protect organisms from dangers. So you got a danger system in your body that alerts you when there's something's going on by eliciting pain and driving avoidance. Pain is also accompanying many types of inflammation and injury. It is increasingly clear that active crosstalk occurs between nociceptor neurons and immune system to regulate pain, host defense, and inflammatory disease. So immune cells at the peripheral nerve terminals, like at the end of the nerve endings, right? And within the spinal cord, release mediators that modulate mechanical and thermal sensitivity. In other words, it's a real delicate system that communicates with each other, right? So let's go back to, and here's in turn, nociceptor neurons release neuropeptides, that's a type of protein, and neurotransmitters that transmissions from neurons from one to the other, it needs sort of chemicals, and these are neurotransmitters from nerve terminals that regulate vascular, it means having to do with your vascular system, innate, and adaptive immune cell response. Therefore, the dialogue between nociceptor neurons and the immune system is fundamental aspect of inflammation, both acute and chronic, okay? A better understanding of these interactions could produce approaches to treat chronic pain and inflammatory disease. So let's go back to the other article here. So it says here, there are significant evidence showing that certain cytokines, these are signaling molecules, are involved not only in initiation, but also the persistence of pathological pain and directly activating nociceptor sensory neurons. Certain inflammatory cytokines are also involved in nerve injury, inflammation-induced central sensitization. The discussion presented in this chapter describes several key pro-inflammatory cytokines and inflammatory cytokines. Okay, and basically these cytokines, the doctor says this. This is what Judy Mikovits says. The actual 5G will start to release the iron from the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is what carries oxygen to your body, right? So it starts to release the iron from the hemoglobin, and then the ferritin captures this iron, right? And this will cause a cytokine storm. And this is the iron in the form of ferritin is found in the blood, can cause this cytokine storm, and it's actually your overactive immune system that causes dysregulated immune system functions. So you have inflammatory function is now out of control. So you get step one, introducing of these aberrant signals into your body. Step two, iron is released, ferritin captures this. This is found in the bloodstream. This causes a cytokine storm. The signaling molecules are going crazy because there's too much of ferritin in the body like that, in the bloodstream. And then you have a constant inflammatory storm happening. So this is why this is important for us to protect against 5G, because there's many things that happen in our society that currently the frequencies in our environment is not the same as when my mom and dad were alive. It is completely different. We got smog, we got pollution, we have all these things in our food chain. We got glyphosates, we got GMO food, we got all the plastic in our food chain. We have all this stuff that disrupts endocrine and hormonal balance in our body, right? So we need protection from all this so our beautiful little cells can operate. They just want to live and survive properly. We don't want, you don't want this, things to hinder or damage the way your DNA operate or your offspring's DNA on their offspring's DNA, right? So I just wanted to, well, for me, after listening to Dr. Klinghardt, it was an eye-opener for me as the importance of our job that we're actually doing here on this planet. We are spearheading something very special. It's something that nobody else can duplicate, right? Something that nobody else has. And in our bracelets, we also have a vitamin and mineral frequencies, right? We have the Schumann frequencies, the whole Schumann frequency, the entire frequency of Mother Earth in there, because that frequency changes, right? And we have an oxygen boost in there, and we have 5G protection, like EMF, RF, and 5G protection. And for example, 5G is thousands of times stronger than, I think it's like 20,000 times stronger than 2G, if I remember correctly. Because it is the tightness of that frequency. It's like all in the microwave band, so that is very important to protect yourselves from that. So this is what I wanted to discuss today. I appreciate your attention, and I'm going to stop the recording here.